Greetings! Mandatory79 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard Tier Days! Alrighty then, let's get started. Pressing the A button now.
Cardfight Vanguard Tier Days.
Loading game and proceeding. Here we are in the main menu. Now let's get on over to the edit deck menu. Here we are, and now for today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be making one for is Dark States, Diabolos Violence Bruce, D-BT02. Okay, then let's get started. So for the deck, I'm going to be using this Dark States Bruce D-Booster 1 deck as the base for the new deck I'm going to build in this video. Alright, let's go in, edit deck. And okay, here we are. So as I just mentioned before, the deck profile I'm making in this video is a Dark States Diabolos Violence Bruce deck comprised of cards only available up until D-Booster 2. So okay, let's get started. First we go to filter settings and pack, and we only show cards from D-Booster 1, Genesis of the 5 Greats, D-Booster 2, A Brush with the Legends, and Festival Collection 2021, which was released between the two boosters, so apply filter. Here we are, so let's get started. First off, the grade 3 lineup. For the grade 3s of this deck, we have right deck, grade 3, Diabolos Violence Bruce. His skills are, first skill, auto. At the start of your right phase, until the end of turn, you Final Rush. Specific units get a power up when you are in Final Rush. And the second skill, auto as a Vanguard. When this unit attacks, if you are in Final Rush, Soul Blast 5. If the cost has been paid, stand all of your front row rear guards. So for Bruce, he's the main grade 3 to run this deck. His skills are the first skill. As long as you've got Bruce in your Vanguard by the time it's the start of your right phase, you enter Final Rush, which is the main mechanic to play in the Bruce deck. And the second skill, when attacking your Bruce while in Final Rush, as long as you don't mind paying the hefty cost of Soul Blast 5, you get to restand all your front row rear guards, guaranteeing you at least 5 attacks as long as you meet the requirements. So for Blues, we're playing 4 of him and have won the right deck. Next up, grade 3, Time Fissuring Fist Colossus. We're not going to be playing this card, so taking him out. And then the grade 3, Upward Acrobat Marjorie. Her skill is auto as a rear guard once per turn. When this unit attacks, if you are in Final Rush, cost, put one of your other rear guards into your soul. If the cost has been paid, draw a card, soul charge 1, and this unit gets plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn. So for Marjorie, she's a support card for the Bruce series. Just by having your Vanguard in Final Rush, when she attacks, as long as you don't mind giving up a rear guard to the soul, you can not only draw a card, soul charge, but turn Marjorie into a 23,000 point attacker all on her own. So for Marjorie, we're playing 2, adding 2 more. We're going to be playing 4 Marjories. And next up, the grade 3, normal order, Hell Blast Full Dive. Its skill is order, plays with a counter blast of 1. If the cost has been paid, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, and call it to rear guard circle. Then if you are in Final Rush, all of your front row units get plus 10,000 power until their turn. So for this order card, is another support card for the Bruce series. Just by being in Final Rush, when you play this card, you get a 10,000 power boost to your front row. And also, you have to superior call a rear guard from your hand to activate the skill. So that's pretty much it. This is a powerful order card to play. Just by counterblasting 1, draw 1, and superior call 1 card from your hand to the rear guard. Then in Final Rush, give all front row units plus 10,000 power. So for Hell Blast Full Dive, we're playing 4 of this card. Now let's get on to the grade 2 lineup. For the grade 2s of this deck, we're playing right deck, grade 2, Diabolos Anger, Richard. His skills are, first skill, auto. When this unit is placed in the Vanguard circle, cost, put a rear guard into your soul. If the cost has been paid, draw a card. And the second skill, continuous as a rear guard. If you are in Final Rush, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So for Richard, he's the main grade 2 ride in this deck. For his skills are, first skill, just by riding him, you get to put a rear guard from your field into the soul, then draw a card, thus securing you more cards to Soul Blast with and to have a slightly larger hand. And the second skill, just by being in Final Rush, Richard can serve as a 15,000 point attacker from the front row. So for Richard, we have 4, but taking 3 out. We're only going to be playing 1 Richard and putting in the right deck. Next up, The grade 2, Diabolos Boys Eden. His skills are, for skill, continuous as a rear guard. If you are in final rush, this unit gets plus 5,000 power, and when it's restand by a card effect this turn, plus 1 critical. And the second skill, auto as a rear guard. When this unit attack hits, cost counterblast 1. If the cost has been paid, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So for Eden, he's another final rush support card for Bruce. For his first skill, just by being in final rush, he can serve as a 15,000 point attacker all on his own, and when restood by a card effect, he gets plus 1 critical, thus making Eden a very powerful front row attacker. In his second skill, just by landing an attack on either an opponent's Vanguard or rear guard, as long as you don't mind paying a counterblast 1, he can retire opponent's rear guard, so it'll either give you a good way to clear your opponent's field of rear guards or to pressure your opponent into wasting more cards to guard against his attacks. So overall, Eden is a very powerful card to have in your Bruce deck. So we're playing 4, taking 2 out. We're only going to be playing 2 Edens. Next up, we're playing for the other grade 2, we're playing the grade 2, Diabolos Jetbacker Leonard. His skills are, for skill, continuous as a rear guard. If you are in final rush, this unit gets plus 5,000 power, and when this unit would attack, it battles all of your opponent's units in a column. And the second skill, auto as a rear guard. When this unit attack hits, soul charge 1, and if your Vanguard is Diabolos Violence Bruce, choose up to 1 card from your soul and call it to the open rear guard circle. So for Leonard, he's a very powerful card to play in your Bruce decks. For the first skill, just by being in final rush, he can serve as a 15,000 point attacker all on his own, but also attack all targets in the same column, so you can attack a Vanguard and the rear guard behind it, or attack 2 rear guards in a single column, making Leonard a very powerful attacker. In the second skill, just by landing an attack on either an opponent's Vanguard or rear guard, you can just soul charge 1, and while Bruce is your Vanguard, you can also superior call a card from your soul to an open rear guard circle, thus giving you maybe a potential attacker or another booster, making Leonard a good card not just for attacking, but for filling out your field. So for Leonard, we're playing 4 of him. Now let's get on to the Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s of this deck, we have right deck, Grade 1, Diabolos Bat Steve. His skills are, for skill, auto. When placed in the Vanguard circle, choose a card from your soul and call to the back row center rear guard circle and soul charge 1. And the second skill, continuous as a rear guard. If you are in final rush, this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So for Steve, he's the main Grade 1 to ride in this deck. For his first skill, just by riding him, you get to move a card from your soul to the back row rear guard circle in the center column and soul charge 1, thus securing Steve a booster from the back row and more cards to soul blast with. And then his second skill, just by being in final rush, your Steve can serve as a 13,000 point attacker from the front row or 13,000 power booster from the back row. So for Steve, we have 4, but only gonna be playing 1, taking 3 out, playing 1, and putting in the right deck. Next up, the Grade 1, Acrobat Presenter, not gonna play this card, taking him out. The Grade 1, Steam Battler Gungram, not gonna play this card, taking it out. Then the Grade 1, Protobalt Dragon, his skills are, auto as a rear guard. When this unit attacks or boosts, if you are in final rush, counterblast 1 and put another rear guard into your soul. If the cost has been paid, choose a card from your soul and put it into your hand. So for Protobalt Dragon, he's a good way to let you switch out cards from your soul to add to your hand, like a Perfect Guard, Overtrigger, or a Persona Rite. Ideally, a powerful final rush support card lets you secure almost any card from your soul back to your hand as long as you're willing to pay the cost of counterblast 1 and sending another rear guard to your soul. So Protobalt, we're playing 3 and keeping 3. Next up, we're playing the Grade 1, Diabolos Madonna Mabel. Her skill is auto as a rear guard. When this unit boosts a Vanguard, if you are in final rush, counterblast 1. If the cost has been paid, choose one of your Vanguards and it gets triple drive until the end of the turn. Drive check 3 times. So for Mabel, she's another support card for the Bruce final rush support. Just by boosting your Vanguard, mainly Bruce, while you're in final rush. And as long as you don't mind paying a counterblast, your Vanguard can drive check 3 cards instead of 2, just making Mabel a very powerful supporter from the back row. So for Mabel, we're playing 2 of her. Next up, The Grade 1 Monitoring Gear Dober. His skill is Auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If you are in Final Rush, cost put this unit into your soul. If the cost is been paid, choose one of your units and it gets plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn. So for Dober, he's a pretty good card to play in your Bruce Final Rush decks. Just by boosting an attack when you're in Final Rush, you can then move him to your soul and give another unit plus 10,000 power, thus increasing your soul to pay for heavier soul blast and also make your remaining attackers much more powerful and likely to finish off your opponent. So for Gear Dober, we're playing 3 of him, okay? Looking good. And next up, oh, sorry about that. Gonna add one more Eden, playing 3 Edens instead of 2, and now the Grade 0 lineup. The Grade 0 ride deck, Diabolos Innocent Matt, skill, auto. When ridden upon, if you went second, draw a card. So Matt is the starting unit of this deck. Just by riding on top of him, if you went second, you draw a card. We have 1 in the right deck. And next up, the trigger lineup. For the triggers in this deck, we're playing Grade 0, Diabolos Girls, My critical trigger, we're playing 4. The Grade 0, Diabolos Jake, Diabolos Boys Jake, draw trigger, we're playing 3. And then the Grade 0, Diabolos Officer Killian, front trigger, we're taking 4 out and replacing her with the Grade 0, Diabolos Girls, Natalia, her skill is continuous as a guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is a Grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Natalia, she's a powerful front trigger to play in your Dark States decks in any build. Just by guarding while your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, Natalia can serve as a 20,000 point shield all on her own. So for Natalia, we're playing 4 of her. And then the Grade 0, Diabolos Girls, Ariana, Kyo Trigger, we're playing 4. And last but not least, the Grade 0, Hades Dragon, Deed of Resentment, Gal Match Hell. His skill is trigger, additional effect. You get during your turn, all of your Vanguards gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical until the end of the fight. So for Gal Match Hell, he's the over trigger for the Dark States Nation. Just by revealing him in a drive check or damage check, like any other over trigger, you get 100 million power and draw a card. And also he features his own skill, which is when revealed during a drive check on your turn, for the rest of your fight during your turn, your Vanguard gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical. So ideally, Gal Match Hell is better suited for being revealed in a drive check, because and the earlier the better. The sooner you reveal Gal Match Hell in your Vanguard's drive check, your Vanguard will have a power boost of 10,000 plus 1 critical for the remainder of the fight, making it a very powerful supporting card for any Dark States deck. So 1 over trigger, and sorry about that, I forgot to explain one more Grade 1. Grade 1, Recusal Hate Dragon, Sentinel, Perfect Guard. Skills are, for skills, Continuous, Sentinel, and second skill, Auto. When placed in the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units. It cannot be hit until the end of the battle. If your hand has 2 or more cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, Recusal Hate Dragon features the same skill and effect. Just by guarding with it and discarding a card from your hand, you can completely block one enemy attack, but it also features an ability unique to all D-standard format Perfect Guards. When used to guard with, if you have 1 or less cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard 1 cost, making Recusal Hate Dragon a powerful no-cost Perfect Guard in desperate last resort situations. So we have 4 Recusal Hate Dragons, keeping 4. And okay, the deck has been built and card effects explained. Now let's get to saving the deck. Oh right, deck being built, yes. Okay, the deck has been built, card effects explained. So for the cards we put in this deck build, we have 4 Grade 3 Diabolos Violence Bruce, 4 Grade 3 Upward Acrobat Marjorie, 4 Grade 3 Hellblast Full Dive, 1 Grade 2 Diabolos Anger Richard, 3 Grade 2 Diabolos Boys Eden, 4 Grade 2 Diabolos Jet Factor Leonard, 1, Great 1, Diabolos, Bat Steve. 3, Great 1, Proto Dragon. 4, Great 1, Recusal Hate Dragon. 2, Great 1, Diabolos Madonna, Mabel. 3, Great 1, Monitoring Gear Dover. 1, Great 0, Diabolos Innocent Matt, starting unit. Then we're playing in this deck 4 Critical Triggers. 3 Draw Triggers. 4 Front Triggers. 4 Heal Triggers. And finally, 1 Over Trigger, Galmouch Hell. Already the deck has been built, card effects explained. Now let's get on to testing out the deck, so let's leave the edit deck menu. And head over to the fight menu. CPU fight. Choosing the new deck I just built. And choosing an opponent. Okay, I'm gonna be fighting Toya Evanta, Keter Sanctuary, normal difficulty. Alright, the battle begins. Let's get started. Deciding who goes first. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Scissors to rock, I lose, going second, okay. Drawing a starting hands. I'm gonna send 1 draw trigger and 1 grade 3 back to hand. Back to deck and redrawing, okay. My opponent's turn, he rides. Fort, okay. My turn, I draw. I'm going to write from my right deck, Diabolos Bat Steve. I discard a critical trigger at the cost. Right, Diabolos Bat Steve, Innocent Matt skill, I draw a card. I draw Dover and activate Steve's skill. And Superior Call for my soul, Innocent Matt to the back row. Next up, I'm gonna call Dover and Dover. There we go. And now let's begin the battle phase. Boosted by Matt, my Vanguard attacks the Vanguard. The attack goes through, drive check. Draw trigger, yes! I draw a card. And no, I drew my over trigger. What rotten luck. Alright, I'll give the power to the right side Dover. The attack goes through, 1 damage. Damage check. No trigger, yes! Okay, next up, my Duber on the left attacks the Vanguard, 8,000 power. The attack goes through, alright. Damage check. No, over trigger, seriously? The damage doesn't go through, so... end of turn. Alright, my opponent's turn, he rides grade 2, Rooks. He reveals 2 Bastions in his hand, and Superior calls a heal trigger in the back row, okay. Here it comes. 1 damage from the Vanguard, so... No guard, take the hit. Here it comes. Drive check. Draw trigger, oh no! He draws more cards and adds power. Ow! Damage check. No trigger. Alright, my turn. I stand and draw. I'm going to ride from my right deck, Diabolos Anger Richard. I discard from the right deck cost a draw trigger. Discard. Right, Richard. Richard's skill, I move a rear guard into the soul. I move Matt to the soul and draw a card. Alright, then I'm going to move Dover to the back row. And I'm gonna call Eden and Leonard. There we go, and then that should do it. Beginning battle phase. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 10,000 power. Drive check. No trigger. And 1 hit. Damage check. No trigger. Alright, perfect guard. He lost 1, so next up. Boosted by Dover, Eden attacks the Vanguard. He guards, wasting a front trigger, okay. Okay, next up, boosted by Dober, my Leonard attacks the
ヴァン
Vanguard.
ガードにアタック
18,000 power. The attack goes through. 1 damage, and it's a no trigger, grade 3. That's the end of my turn. Wait. When it's in the... Okay, Soul Charge 1.
スキル発動
Skill. Attack hit, I Soul Charge. A critical trigger, not good.
俺のターンだドロー
My opponent's turn, he rides.
ビオにライド
Apex Ruler, Bastion.
スキル発動だ
And Rook's skill, he reveals Alden and 2 Bastions in hand. Now he calls Bastion out Alden. Okay. He didn't activate Alden's skill, and he added order. Okay. Alright, so the
ノーガード
grade 3 is in his hand, but it's only be Bastion. So grade 3,
ドライブチェック
second, grade 3. Okay.
覚悟を手に入れた俺の一撃
Here comes 1 damage.
受けてみろ
So and Ray of Light out. That hurts.
ダメー
Damage
ジチェ
check.
ック
No trigger. Okay.
ヴァンガードにアタックだ
Then Alden attacks the Vanguard. So I don't guard, take the hit.
ノーガード
Ow.
ダメー
Damage
ジチェ
check.
ック
No trigger. Alright.
ターンへ
My turn. I stand and draw. I'm going to ride from my right deck, Diabolos Violence Bruce. I discard Proto Bulb as the cost.
さあこの子の出番よ
Right, Diabolos Violence Bruce. And let's see, in my soul. Okay. I'm going to call Proto Bulb to the back row.
コール
And beginning battle phase. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 21,000 power.
ノーガードだ
Alright, twin drive, first check. No trigger. And
ドラ
second
イブチェ
check.
ック
Yes, front trigger, just what I needed. Power to the entire front
プラ
row.
ス
1 damage to my opponent.
私のヴァンガード
And smash. 1 damage. It's a no trigger. Alright. Next up, boosted by. Okay. Boosted by Duber. My Eden attacks the
ヴァンガード
Vanguard.
にアタック
28,000 power.
ノーガード
No guard. Okay.
まだだダメージチェ
Damage
ッ
check. No trigger. Okay. Didn't activate Eden's skill. I'm going to counter blast 1 and retire 1 rear guard. I retire from the rear guard. Alden. And now boosted by Duber. My letter attacks the Vanguard. 28,000 power. He guards. Perfect guard. He discards a grade 3. Okay. Attack blocked. And that's the end of my turn.
ターンエンド
My opponent's turn.
ターンだドロー
He persona rides Bastion. I knew that was coming. Adds power, draws. He calls Posado. And a grade 3 from the back row. Nope, call the front row. A Sparare. Alright. No guard. Take the hit.
ノーガード
Ow.
ダメー
Damage
ジチェ
check.
ック
No trigger.
発動
Posado skill. He counter charges and soul charges. Okay.
ヴァンガー
Next
ドにア
up,
タック
Bastion attacks the Vanguard. I perfect guard with Recusal Hate. And for Recusal Hate's perfect guard, I'm going to discard from my hand a draw trigger. Discard.
完全ガード
ドライブチェック
Twin drive. First check. Alden, grade 3. He can restand later in second check. Posado, grade 3. No trigger. Attack block, and he's gonna use Bastion skill to restand Posado. Okay.
パワープラス
Restands. Okay. Plus power.
ヴァンガードにアタック
Attacking the Vanguard. No guard. Take the hit.
ノーガード
Ow.
ダメー
Damage
ジチェッ
check.
ク
Yes, heal trigger. I cannot heal, but I'll give power to
パワ
Bruce.
ープラス
スキル発動
Posado skill. He soul charges and
ヴァン
okay.
ガードにアタック
I guard with Leonard from my hand. 28,000. Attack blocked.
ガード
And there we go.
ターンへ
Alrighty, it's my turn. I stand and draw. I activate Bruce's skill. Final rush.
スキル発動
not gonna ride. And now go into battle phase. I retire. Okay, I'm gonna retire Proto Bolt for Mabel, called the back row. And okay, beginning battle phase. Alright, boosted by Silver on the back row. Eden attacks the Vanguard. 23,000 power. Keep guards, okay. Attack blocks, and now I activate Silver's skill. I move into the soul
スキル発動
and give 10,000 power to a rear guard or Vanguard or any unit really. So I give the power to Eden.
パワープラス
And now boosted by Silver on the left. My letter attacks the Vanguard, 23,000 power. Yes, he doesn't guard. Attack hits and attacking the back row as well. Damage check. Front trigger. All right. He cannot heal. Alrighty, we're done here. 6 damage. I win. Winner me. I got some VP. I got win. Perfect guarded. Opponent drew an over trigger. 6 turns passed. Did a superior call and drew 3 times in 1 turn. I won a total of 1,800 VP. Total 13,950 VP. Press A to go next. And returning to the fight menu.
どのファイター
Leaving
に
the
ど
fight
のデッ
menu.
キにする
Going
どの
back to
ファイ
main
ターにする
menu. We're back in the main menu and going to edit deck menu.
どのデッキを見る
Okay, so we pretty much finished explaining the deck's build and card effects, and I finished testing out the deck in front of you. So with that, that's about the time we have for today. So first off, I want to say thank you to the viewers watching today's... Wait, sorry. Here we go. So first off, I want to say thank you to the viewers watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show support by liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that, I say goodbye and see you.